Alright folks, Vitek here and Sarmad from Wani with us today. We have one and only Chrigel Glanzmann of Eluveitie. How are you doing today, buddy?
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me there. And yeah, very good. We just finished some shootings for a lyric video for a track from the upcoming album. So yeah, keeps us busy, but good.
Keeps us busy. Obviously, the next couple of weeks till the album release are going to be very packed with a lot of expectations to see how fans are receiving the new music. You've already unleashed Epona. So how's it been so far? Has it been as the band expected when it comes to the fan reaction, or has been kind of surprising to some extent?
Yes and no. I mean, on one hand, I really have to say we usually don't have expectations because, there's not much of a point in it. But yes, we were just curious, of course, and curious to see how the people will receive new album, receive new lineup, and so on and so on. So yeah.
Sounds good. Sounds really good. And obviously, it's been close to 7 to 8 years since the first part came out. So I was wondering. Yeah. Why is now the right time for a band to release part 2? I mean, obviously there's been 8 years, you have released 2 albums in the middle. So when you look back at that, why is 2017 the right time for Eluveitie to release the second part of this record?
I mean, the thing is, we actually really, obviously I have been asked this question quite a couple of times now. And But yeah, honestly, we really don't know, and we don't even know if it's the right time or not. Maybe it's with a new lineup, maybe it would have been smarter to release something else. But the thing is, when we started the first part of Evocation, when I wrote the Evocation concept back in 2008, it was meant to become a 2-album concept from the start. And the only thing that we said back then is that we just really want to take our time for the second part. No pressure, just see whenever it feels right. And this is the only reason why it came out. It was basically just following gut feeling. Yeah, it just felt right. But yeah, I also have to say that the decision that our next album would be Evocation II was made quite early, actually, when we were producing Origins already. But yeah, that there's no specific reason. It just felt right, and we even had some talks, and some people from outside the band even came up to us and suggested to rather do another metal album or something like that because of the lineup change. And having a new singer is always not that easy, and we even thought about it, but in the end it's just you should always follow your own gut, I think, or we think. So that's why we still ended up going for Evocation II now.
Totally agree with that today. So when I look back at the writing process of this album, you have 3 new members and 1 member, Pantheon, who's part of the creative process now. So let me put it this way: you got 4 members now who are basically working on this, who have worked on this album. So when you look at the crux of it, you have a new guitarist. Obviously you have Fabian on vocals, and Jonas is joined on guitar. So the overall essence of Eluveitie has always been about writing strong songs, memorable songs. So was there any different this time when you were entering the studio that, with new members, new energy, new blood into the band when it comes to, writing songs?
Actually, yes. That's, to be honest, not what we really expected. I mean, of course, it's always good, and line change is always something difficult, but it can also, bring some new impact or whatever. But yeah, but how we as a band developed in the last 12 months, I would say, is feels really amazing to us. The atmosphere within the band is very, very, just good, relaxed on one hand, but very, very focused and dedicated and committed on the other hand, and just very familial somehow. And it's just in the last couple of months playing all these shows together, and it's just this the vibe within the band just really developed in an amazing way, and this also affected, of course, in the studio. And I think never, or at least not probably since Wani or our debut album, we have worked together as a unit, as a full band, a group of musicians, so intensely. And actually the whole production time, all the band were in studio. Even those band members who were not recording at the time or something, they were still there, just to be there, or to cook for everybody else and stuff like that. And yeah, like the whole production was like just a very dedicated atmosphere, and like in all day long, every day, like in every corner of the studio, some band members were just sitting together, spontaneous creativity and stuff like that, and also even actually 3 tracks of the album fully arose in the studio just out of spontaneous jamming and stuff like that, and that's kind of new for Eluveitie. So in that sense, yeah, it kind of did affect us as a band in a way that feels very, very good to me.
Awesome. That's really good to hear. You're talking about the live shows, so that's what came to my mind. That obviously with the reception the band has got from the fans. How's it been with obviously new members? The Fabian is on vocals now, and obviously the new drummer and the guitar. How have the fans received the live part of Eluveitie? Who were used to having, let's say, Anna or Evo in the past?
Yeah, honestly, I think very, very good. I mean, on one hand, of course, there's always that kind of people who don't like changes in general. There's always the people who say, "Oh my God, no, it's not the same anymore. I don't like it." Blah blah blah, and that's totally legitimate, of course. But it's by far not like the majority or something. And by far most of our fans really, really welcomed the new lineup. Yeah, just very welcome, and I think, I mean, on the one hand, this is just amazing, and it just makes us really thankful to our fans. But at the same time, I think it's also, I think what happened in the studio, this is something you can also feel, because a live show, because it's also going on stage, and the whole energy is just really grew within the band.
Now it's pretty evident that Evocation II was being planned way beforehand, before anybody actually expected it. Now, how would you say that both of these acoustic albums relate to each other lyrically, or as per with the content as it goes?
Yeah, totally. I mean, well, on one hand, of course, musically, both are following the same concept. But also contentionally and lyrically, I mean, both albums are fully kept in Gaulish language, in ancient Celtic language.
Right.
And the idea of evocation is to really dig deep in Celtic mythology, and to put, or to wrap pristine Celtic mythology into music, into songs.
Okay,
and
so
that's what both albums do, and thus Celtic mythology is the concept of both albums, also lyrically. And while the first one actually took mythological and magical text, but original text, which means texts that have been written down around 2,000 years ago and have been found in archaeological excavations.
Right.
And took text like this as song lyrics. The idea of the part 2 was to kind of, in a Celtic understanding, to kind of go back to where all this comes from, which in the Celtic understanding would be the other world. Pantheon was the world beyond in the Celtic beliefs. And and in that sense, the Evocation II is like a stroll through the Celtic Pantheon, through the other world, which is the place, where originally we all come from, and where we all go to at some point, and where all the gods live. So each track of the album is dedicated and represents one Celtic goddess or god, and yeah, also expresses the character of the respective deity, not only lyrically but also in the music.
All right. So if you go into the history aspect of both of the albums, I also do understand that there was a lot of research work involved within the second album compared to the first, and it has been going on for quite a while now. So how did that process go on with the band or the people that you worked with and the people involved, etc., etc.?
Mm. It's actually true what you say. It was quite a bit of work, and but that's always also part of. That's actually part of what Eluveitie is. Like each of our albums is also kind of a scientific project, and
right.
Since day one we also worked together with scientists from different universities from all over Europe, and that was also true for that album. And well, somehow I can actually say that the process of the research and everything actually was going on for maybe 4 years already or something, in that sense that if it comes to scientific work, Origins, our last album, was by far the most work intense album. That there was I was working on the lyrics for like 1.5 years there.
Okay.
And there was a lot of research involved. But since Origins covers or kind of retells a theological tales and myths, like foundation myths and origin myths.
Right.
Of course, that also goes pretty deep into the mythological aspect, and in that sense, I kind of now profited a lot from all I learned when working on Origins.
Chrigel, I want to talk about Fabian because I feel the band has taken a bold step, keeping in mind, the fan base Anna had. And what you've done this time is you've put Fabian in the foreground with more space, a lot of vocals coming from her instead of you. A very bold step. Is that something you planned ahead? That you're very much confident about Fabian's performance on this album, that you gave her more space?
No, it wasn't planned in that sense. Like, I mean, as I said, like producing Evocation II now was basically us following gut feeling. So in that sense, it was rather the other way around. The decision that our next album will be Evocation II was already made, and Fabian and we all just had to deal with it. It's more like this. But yeah, nevertheless, she really took the challenge, and personally, I'm extremely confident with her work on the album. I think it's just fucking incredible, to be honest. But yeah.
It kind of makes me feel that from a vocal perspective, she kind of connected to us, even me and Sarmad, much more than how Anna used to do in the past. But I'm sure there are fans who are gonna again do that comparison. That's a non-stop drama, which I'm sure of. So
yeah.
Did that sort of the band had to think about how to kind of avoid this thing, because I'm sure when you replace the core band member, you receive a lot of flag, and then obviously a lot of positive side of it as well.
Yeah, but as I said before, I think the fans just received the new lineup really well in general, and also Fabienne. But and it's probably also like Fabienne is a very, very charismatic person. I mean, it's when she walks on stage, it's like as if the sun would go up. So she has like this very strong. Yeah, it's just she just has a very strong charisma, and I think that people love that as well. But nevertheless, I wouldn't. Actually, I would never go as far to like really like compare or say this is better or that was better or something. It's basically just different.
So, as Owais has already mentioned, there's going to be a huge Eluveitie following that needs to be addressed once the album is released. And while there is already the existing fan base, there is no doubt that there's going to be more people that are going to be listening to you once the album is released. So, for the people who already listen to the band and the people who will listen to the band, are there any songs in the record that have special significance to you or special significance to anyone in the band, which you want the fans to keep their ears open to?
I honestly really couldn't say that. To me, or I think I can speak for all of us here. It's like the album is like, you know, a full, you know, like an entity, and it works and speaks as that. And that's
all
also, yeah, and well, apart from that, of course, it's also always a matter of taste,
right?
For everybody. But yeah.
True, man. I totally get that. How far do you think the band is going to take this evolution? I mean, it's since the debut album to Slania to Origins and now to Evocation Part 2. Personally, from your perspective, how far do you think that you guys are going to take this musical evolution you guys are been doing for years and years now?
I mean, of course, it developed. Or at least I think that's something pretty normal. So, of course, you develop as a band, and of course, the longer you do it and the more you play, the more you also kind of grow as a musician, and so on and so on. But personally, to be really honest, I don't even feel that much of a evolution or something. I mean, we play better today than we did like 15 years ago, but other than that, the productions got better and so on. But I think just like really composing wise, you could, if we would have recorded a song from Slania on Origins or the other way around, I think no one would have noticed that, like in a sense, like that this particular song sounds different than the rest of the album or something like that.
I can relate to it, to how you may feel that there hasn't been much evolution, but from listening to the band since like for more than a decade now, to me it feels it's been a journey, and I'm sure you love to carry this forward on the stage with obviously the tour with Amaranth, and I'm sure you're going to proceed to states and other countries as well. How are the preparations going on when it comes to the upcoming tours?
Actually, this is still, people are still very busy with that. I mean, the touring cycle, for the next maybe 1 or 2 years is still being planned. It's done and almost completely official until the end of the year, where we will basically stay in Europe, but extensively tour all of Europe. And for next year, the biggest parts of the year are pretty much still open, and the tour planning still going on. But yeah, we definitely will go out and also visit other continents again, and so yeah.
Sounds good. Did you get a chance to listen to new Cellar, Darling?
It's amazing. I really think it's amazing, and it's also. I knew quite some stuff since quite a while already. I heard it in studio. I mean, we've been to studio together. They recorded at the same studio than we did, and like we met, and so I knew quite some of the stuff already. But I think it's amazing, and this is it's kind of. I think it was a really lucky turnout for everybody, but because it was a lineup split like this is never something easy. But like back then in March last year, what we all said is that you're just going to try to use it as a chance, like Anna, Ivo, and Merlin, and we. And now looking back, almost 1.5 years later. I can somehow really say that I think we both succeeded in doing that, as taking it as a chance. And it was, with the months, it was like really cool to see that the difficult as it was, like how much positive energy it released as well, and that also, like for Cellar, especially for Anna, like it was really cool to see how. I think especially like in the last half years, she really, like, how do you say, like, blossomed. Her creativity like really blossomed, and she like was going crazy with new ideas and tried like building different new things out she has never done before, and the result of that is that first Cellar album, which I think is really amazing.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So I'm going to sum up the interview by asking you a simple question to describe the sound of Evocation Part 2 in just one sentence.
Antumnos. Oh, in sentence, not one word, and one sentence. Actually, it's pretty much. I would say it like in what the concept actually is. It is, a journey through the Celtic otherworld. Like how can you say this in like as music? It's like it's a musical journey through the Celtic otherworld.
All right, Chrigel, you have a great evening, and Sarmad.
You too.
Yeah.
All right.
Thank you very much.